All right, guys, so it looks like the federal government is getting ready for another lockdown, so I figured it's time for us to up our game this time around. You know, I think that they're going to try to force the health pass onto us, just like the CCP did to their population. You know, in China, it started out as a health pass, and you know, people were locked in their house. They couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. Now they've got this social credit system that the tyrannical government loves, but the people hate, right? You speak out against the government and they can turn your card off, you know, make it so you're not allowed to buy fuel, you're not allowed to buy meat, you're not allowed to use public transportation, and you can't get a loan. So we need to resist this with every fiber of our being. And so to help you in that effort, I have created another prepper's guide, free to download, right? You just go to archive.org and type my channel name, and if you type in Uncommon News 777, it'll pull up a bunch of prepper guides. Well, the name of this one is called DGoogle. So if you open up the DGoogle PDF, it will show you how to uninstall applications which you typically could not uninstall from your cell phone. So it shows you how to go into developer mode. It shows you how to download and install ADB so that you can force uninstall things that are on your phone, like a health pass, right? Or Google Apps, which, you know, typically you can't uninstall it. You know, you go into your apps on your phone right now and try to uninstall any Google app. You won't be able to do it. It'll still be there. You can force stop it, but you can't uninstall it. Well, this prepper's guide shows you how to remove those files from your phone, right? Now, the guide is for an LG V30, okay? But those instructions would typically work for other phones, okay? So you might need to do a very little bit of adjustments and tweaking to the guide to get it to work for your phone, but they're very minor adjustments. So, like, you know, the location of the developer options is going to be slightly different depending on, you know, your Android version or whatever. So it's all pretty straightforward, you know, but keep in mind, you know, this kind of thing, you know, following these kinds of instructions could cause irreparable harm to your phone if you don't do it correctly. So keep that in mind. It's on you if you brick your phone. It's not my fault, okay? But like I said, you know, they're trying to lock us down again. And as I said the first time around, it was and it is a commercial blockade, which is an act of war, okay? So don't forget that. Blockades are, in fact, according to the Geneva Conventions, an act of war, right? So when they prevent you from conducting commerce, that's called a blockade. That's called a commercial blockade. Why is it a blockade? Because they're preventing you from conducting something. They're preventing you from doing something. That's a blockade. It's a block, right? They're blocking you from doing something. Doing what? Commerce, right? You can't do commerce freely if you can't move freely. You know, you can't conduct commerce if stores are closed down. It's a blockade. If they force you to do something in order to conduct commerce, that is a blockade, right? You have to do this before you're allowed to do that, right? That type of situation, that scenario is itself, it's a blockade, right? And if they prevent you from leaving your house or leaving your city or getting on an airplane or getting on a train without having a health pass, then they are in effect placing you under arrest, right? You are under arrest in your house, right? They are arresting your movement, right? So not only are you at war, right, because of the blockade, but you are also under arrest. And in that situation, you are technically a prisoner of war. And according to the Geneva Convention, you have certain rights to create a representative form of government in that situation to represent you in your dealings with the other party that has attacked you, right? The commercial blockade, that's an attack. Blockades are an attack. So the Geneva Convention recognizes your right to create a new form of government, right? To liberate yourself, to break away from the government or the organization which is attacking you. So keep that in mind as well, right? As we go into this second lockdown, take a real look at it for what it truly is, right? Recognize it for what it really is. It's an attack against you. It's an attack against your freedom, right? And it's an attack against the United States Constitution. Why is that? Because they're going to prevent your freedom of movement, which is a violation of the First Amendment. How's it a violation of the First Amendment? First Amendment recognizes that you have the right to assemble, right? You cannot assemble unless you are able to move, right? So the right of assembly assumes that you have the freedom to move, right? To move freely, right? Without hindrance. You can't assemble if you can't move around, right? So if they prevent you from moving around, then by default they are preventing you from assembling. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's a violation of the First Amendment right there. And if they try to prevent you from speaking because of disinformation or whatever, or your opinion prevents them from gaining more profits, then yes, that's also a violation of your freedom of speech, right? So that's why we're up in our game here. Go to that archive.org, right? Download a copy of the Prepper's Guide on how to de-Google your phone, right? And print it out, because there's going to be a time where they shut all this stuff down. So it would behoove you to have all this stuff printed out ahead of time, so that you can, if you're not going to do this to your phone, at least you can have the instructions so that you can give it to somebody who might want to know how to do it themselves, right? So all of my Prepper's Guide are free. I put a lot of time and effort into it for you guys, because the premise of this channel is that we move, we take action. We don't sit around and just talk about the problems. We move to correct or to fight against the infringement of our rights. We take action, and this is one of the ways that we can take action against their health pass, right? By knowing how to forcibly remove it from our phones, right? And by telling Google, screw you, right? So, if you guys appreciate the work and you want to support my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. I put a lot of work and effort into this guide right here for you, and I'm basically giving it for free. But if you'd like to support the work, there's a link in the description box where you can do that, where you can buy me a coffee, and I would greatly appreciate it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and as always, don't forget, help out your neighbors.